Hello and welcome everybody to the Overwatch All-Stars Brawl number 4 presented by Star Esports. Today we have a double elimination tournament dedicated to our Overwatch Tier 3 community. As well, we're going to be watching the two teams of, well, I'm going to call the first one Forefront and the second one T-Money. They're going to be going at it head-to-head here in our losers bracket. Match 8 for those of you keeping count. For your casting entertainment today, I'm going to be Sir Waltham, accompanied by the ever-present and always lovely Shy Guy. Shy Guy, how are you feeling today?
I'm doing fantastic. We had an interesting match earlier tonight, and now we're gonna keep things rolling with the last match of lower bracket round 2. One more team going home here tonight, so I'm just ready to get into it.
I certainly am as well. We are going to be starting off on Busan. T-Money going to be on the left in blue, Forefront on the right in red. Now, Shy Guy, we've already seen Busan here once tonight. Do you think we're going to be seeing a similar style that we saw the first time around?
I think largely it's going to be the same kind of no matter what map we play right now. There isn't a ton of variance in it. The variance comes, I would say, not so much in terms of the maps, although there is opportunities for that. More in just of like what individual teams kind of want to play and what they are kind of comfortable with and stylistically. So we'll just have to really get into it before we know exactly what we're gonna see.
Yeah, that's definitely going to have to be the case here. We are just giving ourselves a few moments, and by ourselves I mean production, the entire organization, just giving everybody a few moments to get settled in, get nestled into their spots before we do go on to Busan. For those of you who didn't catch it earlier, we did have a game between Reckless and Scion Esports. Ended up going 3-0 in favor of Scion. So if my tournament math is correct, which it's not always, the winner of this game will be going up against Scion in the next round of the losers bracket.
Indeed, they will be. So we'll just have to see who is going to be meeting Scion. Whoever it is, definitely going to have their work cut out for them. Scion looking very, very strong earlier tonight. So whoever it is going to have to do a lot to kind of impress me and make me think that they have a good shot against a team as strong as Scion. So but first things first, let's not put the cart before the horse. You got to get out of this round before you start looking ahead to Scion. So we'll see whether T-Money has what it takes to kind of keep this lower bracket run going. They fell down in the very first round of the tournament. They lost their first match. Have since kind of fought their way to this point. They took down Atlas in the first lower bracket round. So we'll see if they can keep that momentum with them now.
Yeah, and Forefront, not exactly a weak team either. They went 2-3 against Citizens before popping down in here into this lower bracket. Citizens looking to be one of the very good teams so far. So certainly Forefront going tooth and nail for them, just not coming out in that way. I mean, both these teams, I think they have something to fight for. Obviously, you don't want to be left with the loss in here in the losers bracket, because that does mean elimination from the tournament.
Yeah, I mean, everybody kind of fighting for their tournament lives at this point. So there's quite a bit on the line in terms of just continuing forward, continuing to get this opportunity to test yourselves against the best that Tier 3 have to offer, especially as right now we are smack in the middle of an open division season. So these teams kind of they want all of the practice and all of the opportunities to test themselves that they can get right now.
Yeah, I mean, if nothing else, teams definitely coming into tournaments like these figure out where they stand. We just spoke to one of the members of Reckless at the end of their game. They were definitely using this as an opportunity not only to have a little bit of fun, exhibition style play here, but to also kind of get a feel of where they could improve, some areas they may not be shining in, and especially with open division, always kind of constantly hovering around as that ever-present, I don't want to say threat, but kind of, it gives teams a good gauge of where they're at. So hopefully this map will at least be revealing for both teams to help them improve themselves moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, and you said it there, I mean, open division is always on the mind of these tier 3 teams, but I would say that's especially true now as we head into 2020. We've got a lot of changes to the path to pro happening right now. And on the open division side, there's going to be more seasons of open division, more opportunities for teams to kind of prove themselves in 2020 than perhaps ever before. So I think the teams that are really hungry to make their name are really grinding and looking to improve as much as possible, get themselves into a position where they can really compete for those contender spots and try to make a name for themselves.
Yeah, and making a name is sometimes all it's about. We have about 15 seconds before the rosters start unlocking here on Sanctuary. Shy Guy, you got any guesses?
This is the one place where we could see some of that wrecking ball. I really think we saw quite a bit of it in our first series here tonight, but I don't expect it, at least on the side of Team Money. From what we saw, casting them last week, they really mostly just kind of stuck to what we would consider the go-to right now in terms of composition. The tank line realistically going to be Dusk and Aster on that Sigma Orisa combo as much as possible.
Yeah, and right now it looks like on the other side of the field, Forefront going to be mixing things up a little bit, going a little bit more divey with it. 1DK on that Pharah, personal favorite of mine anyway, but we're going to be seeing them roll out here with a rather quick Fury. Finchu and Argon on the Wrecking Ball and Winston respectively. We're seeing 1DK, excuse me, take to the skies, trying to get some early damage, not quite finding it. Looks like the rotation going to be coming in from Team Money, but early on, it's going to be Ashton taking a drop from a couple rockets from 1DK. 1DK already a good ways to their rocket barrage. The stomp coming in from the Wrecking Ball, and it's looking like numbers are just going so hard in favor of Forefront right now.
Yeah, and you wouldn't necessarily think that the kind of divey composition wants to take the fight in this enclosed space in kind of the drum room over here, but they do it, and they do it beautifully. DK really making it work on that far, laying in rockets from a nice angle on the outside. They didn't have the shield available to keep him at bay, so now they're gonna swap Dusk over to the D.Va. That rocket booster buff that she just received, gonna make her a threat to 1DK for sure.
Yeah, it absolutely will. However, they also do switch Ashton onto that Reaper, and immediately Argon's going to get punished very painfully by Aster. The point still in possession by Forefront. They have to be playing a little bit carefully here as they don't have that Winston to really dive any of those to initiate that really hard dive. It looks like 1DK going to be trying to use the Rocket Barrage, taken down by Dusk. Some good response from that D.Va play, and now there are just members on the side of the team of Forefront trying to buy as much time as possible to get that clock up, but eventually it will flip over to the side of Team Money.
I mean, and there you see exactly why the D.Va is being run. 1DK goes in for the aggressive barrage and just gets completely shut down in this instance. And without him there, they don't have the kind of sustained damage to keep that fight going. But now they'll be pushing back in with the Emperor site available for Kydra. So got all the info about where Team Money is set up.
Yeah, those Emperor sites going to give an opportunity or give the option for some very strong charges. Argon getting brought down dangerously low right off the bat, going to be taken down by Mythology on that Lucio. One of the Wrecking Ball trying to contest point, but that Reaper is being a bugbear for the side of Finchu, who's trying to play around drum, not really finding too much of it, though. The Winston coming in to help them out, but will it be enough? The Primal Rage is going to be popped. Argon gets frozen right at it. Mythology actually getting killed in the middle of a beat drop. That is so crucial. 1DK really coming in clean there with that kill. Osias taking down Kydra with an icicle to the forehead. And now the D.Va trying to be aggressive on this Pharah. Not going to quite be able to find it, though. But Argon going to be dropped by that self-destruct. The Rocket Barrage coming in, cleaning up Dusk and Osias. Osias, however, going to be getting the last laugh as 1DK gets dropped. With the rest trying to come in, not going to quite be working for Nyansox as he tries to get that in, but doesn't quite land it. Gets knocked out or stunned. I think it was a Lucio Boop, actually. The rally going to come in, and this is some great stall coming in from Team Money. They have not given up the point yet. And the mines now are going to be making things a little bit more difficult for the currently defensive team. Finchu using those mines to take down Mythology. This Pharah still not really having been dealt with, just getting that Mercy pocket. Aster going to be meandering into some mines, as will Kitty King. It's just going to be the Mei and D.Va on point. They will be able to hold it out likely here long enough to get 99. but after that, the point will certainly be flipping. You have to expect that is until the Lucio comes in and touches. He's going to be buying just a little bit more time on point. This does not seem to be stopping, and finally it will be flipping over to forefront.
Okay, well, they kind of lost that fight pretty early on. I mean, they were down for the vast majority of it, but they keep it going up to 99%. So excellent job in the defensive position there for Team Money, as now they just need to win one fight, but they've already lost Mythology once again. They're probably going to hold up this push just a little bit.
Yeah, you certainly have to think that the halt will be there. We're going to be seeing the Blizzard come online, so that may be a good opportunity for the side of Team Money to clear off the point. They're going to have to really get in position, however, and it does not look like 1DK wants to give them those angles too freely. We already see the Rocket Barrage coming online for them. They know they're in the drum room. They might even be trying to come in, drop from above. They know that D.Va doesn't have the rockets, the boosters on anymore. May Blizzard going to be going in. The Rocket Barrage coming in, but they've 1DK gets focused down by that Pharah. Going to be taking out Dusk of their mech, but it's not going to be enough. The members of the side of Forefront going to be getting killed one by one. The point's going to flip over to Team Money, and it looks like this overtime clock's going to burn.
Indeed it will. And, you know, Team Money, they make some interesting adaptations over the course of this map. One, they throw Dusk on that D.Va as an attempt to kind of shut down the Pharah, at least harass 1DK a little bit. He was also able to kind of force Kydra off of that Widowmaker by getting up in his face. But then they also decide the rest of their comp is just gonna more or less ignore the Pharah. They're gonna win the ground battle. They're gonna melt that kind of squishy tank line of Argon and Finchu with the Reaper, and it works out quite well for them. They take the close victory there on Sanctuary, as now we roll into Busan, and the Sombra are gonna be making an appearance.
Yeah, Ashton on this Sombra, very curious. They may be trying to do something along the lines of disabling that Widow or the Pharah, pulling them out of the sky or pushing them off of the wedged in sniper's nest they may have. We'll just have to find out. Ashton, however, gonna quickly be getting out of there, swapping onto the Reaper, and already 1DK trying to pepper the locations they see their opponents coming out from. And right now they're not getting in too much damage. Neither team really hard engaging on this too yet, but that Pharah is taken to the sky, and already Osias landing a couple very nice icicles onto 1DK, but it's going to be the point possession for the side of Forefront. However, they do lose their tanks. It's going to make it very difficult for them to maintain possession of this point. Ashton getting very aggressive on that Reaper. Kydra, however, taking down Mythology helps to level out the field, but will it be enough here, Shy Guy?
I really don't think so. Losing your tank line that early, it was not the best case scenario for them. They only get 5% off of that trade, and they at the very least kind of needed to stall things out on the point if they wanted to get value out of that. So now they'll just back off, regroup a little bit, and try to come back in here. But Finchu just constantly getting CC'd by this May.
Yeah, Finchu having a really tough time against Osias, who seems to be playing pretty efficiently right now. Nyansox and 1DK going to get burned down by that Coalescence. Kitty King knowing where to focus their priority there with that. And right now we're seeing the Wrecking Ball just get controlled on the point. Finchu last to drop, last to come out of spawn once again.
Yeah, and you're seeing so far that it is much more difficult on this point of Busan for 1DK to get value on that Pharah. He's in fact going to make the swap over to Hanzo, but there's just so much more cover and, you know, not as much kind of aerial cover for him to hide behind, but so much more for the defenders to really bunker down.
Yeah, absolutely. Dusk has that D.Va bomb online. We'll see if they're able to get it with this next push or next defensive hold. Gonna try to be using it in coordination with the halt. The Maywall coming in, saving a lot of people. It was actually Osias dropping their own wall to stop their own D.Va bomb. Perhaps a little bit of a misplay, but the kills are gonna come in now for Team Money, at least a little bit back and forth for both sides. Right now the point is being contested. It's just two tanks versus a Lucio for the side of Forefront. It looks like they're going to be trying to take it. Can they though? The point will finally flip over to them, Saga.
Dusk was trying to stall things out and almost did it long enough for Ashton to get back in here on the Reaper. That would have been massive. He's still going to be able to take down Finchu, looking to turn into Argon, but the main tank holds his own.
Yeah, and Kydra be claiming the life of Kitty King because of that Maywall. Sound Barrier coming in. The stall is coming in just long enough. force some more members of Forefront to be able to get onto the field. Eureka really feeling the pressure as that Lucio rushes back to help save them. And right now, it does not look good for Forefront. They need to make something happen as they lose the point again.
They've got a brief moment here where they can regroup, but they're going to be in an awkward spot as they try to get back in here. Fichu getting chased down. He will be able to deal with Mythology, though.
Yeah, that Transcendence, rather, and the Coalescence is going to be coming out from Kitty King and Archus, non-respectively. The Death Blossom coming out and going to be taking out the Superchargers. Neither of them going to be lasting for too long. And with that, the kills going to be going back and forth once again. However, they start to be slowly tipping in favor of Team Money, who just has eliminated basically everybody but the Mei on point, who is trying so desperately to stall. Does not look like Hydra will be successful, though, as that overtime counter is going to tick down, and there it goes.
And the crucial kill to kick off that final fight was Team Money being able to take down Finchu. Dust got right up in his face, along with Mythology. They traded the Lucio for the Sigma, but it denied the Gravitic Flux. It meant that Finchu wasn't able to get back into that fight and participate at all. He couldn't, use his grasp to eat the Death Blossom. So much value denied by that play from Dusk. Really heads up in that moment to deal with kind of the biggest threat that was there on the side of Forefront.
Yeah, certainly, and it's going to be enough to carry them into this next map with a point in their pockets. Team Money, so far, coming up a little bit more advantageous. But that being said, we do still have a few more matches to go at the very least. I do believe it will be Team Money to ban, with Forefront being the team to pick. And Shy Guy, seeing what we've seen so far from these two teams, do you have any idea of where Forefront might like to opt for to play?
They showed us that they wanted at least to try and run that far. I mean, Team Money was good at kind of stopping it. They had a decent plan in place to deal with those far compositions from Forefront, but it does seem to be something that is on their minds, is at least the plan right now. So we'll see if they want to take us somewhere like a Rialto perhaps as a good option for that Farah pick, and the ban just going to be Watch Point Gibraltar coming through from Team Money. They want to avoid, I think, kind of the divier maps. It would seem like they are fully prepared to just, I think, just kind of run the stock standard approach and make adaptations where needed. And that makes sense here with the Gibraltar ban.
Yeah, and Forefront seeming to kind of not be too concerned about choosing dive maps, as they're going to go King's Row here for their next map choice. And overall, I'm not too surprised. King's Row has been a map we've seen pretty consistently picked throughout this tournament. So I think that that's a pretty reliable map to kind of place your bet on finding in this.
Yeah, I struggle to see a world in which we ever get in Overwatch where teams are not constantly picking King's Row. Everybody loves this map. Everybody is comfortable on it. So it makes complete sense to see this out of Forefront. I will be interested to see what kind of changes they make in terms of compositions or in terms of their approach. They're going to be starting out on the defense this time around. So we'll just see what kind of adaptations they can make to perhaps improve their chances as we head into map 2.
Yeah, absolutely. Map 2 going on to King's Row. I do believe the teams have been swapped, so Team Money going to be on the attack to start. Forefront going to be on the defense in opposing fashion, I suppose. So blue for Forefront. Team Money going to be in the righteous red. We're going to be seeing the rosters open up here in 20 seconds. I'm excited, Shy Guy.
Yeah, I actually really like Team Money. They as the winner of the first map, they got to choose what side they started on. And normally you see teams pick the defense to kick things off. But so far, Forefront has thrown some kind of different looks at them. And I think it's smart to start off in the attack, because you get to see, at least a little bit what Forefront's plan of attack is. You see what heroes they want to run on King's Row specifically, because I don't think that's going to change massively between offense and defense. So it'll give them a little bit of a better idea perhaps of what they're up against, and they can kind of tailor their own defensive composition to suit that. But as we look at, Forefront, they're just going to head over into something a little bit more standard here. No more kind of funny business in terms of the compositions. It is just going to be the Mei Hanzo as that DPS duo, and I think that makes all the sense in the world here on Kings Row.
Yeah, I'm doubtful Osiris is actually going to be running that Widow. No, it looks like it was just for scouting. Going to be hopping onto the Mei rather quickly. See the sonar arrow come out from Ashton just to get that little bit of scouting as well. They will see the Sigma and the Hanzo up there. Mei wall to come up, block the pathway from left statue. You're going to be going straight in through the hotel. Mei wall trying to come in split, but it's not going to be finding too much value. The Accretion Rock going early onto Argon with the Discord Orb, and already things looking off to a blazing start for T-Money. That Mei wall coming up late from the side of Hydra just to try to buy themselves a little bit of separation. Will not work as Ashton eventually sends an arrow through their head. This is going to be all chase and cleanup for the side of T-Money as those last two members are still left standing.
That is a pretty nasty first point attack there for T-Money as they keep the momentum rolling here on Kings Row. They have come into this series ready to go, and they are doing such an excellent job of winning these frontline fights, of focusing down the main tanks, and now they chase down Nyan Socks. They're just going to keep up the pressure.
Yeah, a good wall coming out from Osiris. As soon as they see Nyan Socks poking out a little bit too far, they put the wall right in front of her, unable to run away. Some really good play there. You got to be able to capitalize upon that, and they're continuing to push here. And it looks like the Forefront's kind of folding like a little bit of a lawn chair right now. They're not really putting their feet into the ground. They're going to try to hold this final third point defense, or this final second point defense, it seems.
Yeah, they've just got to kind of back up and regroup a little bit. Without your Batiste there, you really don't have an option to stick around in the fight. So they'll regroup and try to get back in here, but they can't seem to get kind of a foothold to push forward. And now that Amp Matrix is going to force them back around the corner even more.
It certainly will. That Immortality Field going to be coming out in response from Nyan Socks. Keep everybody alive. The Mei getting sectioned off by another Mei wall. Osiris seems to be really intent on placing those Mei walls as critically as possible. Going to be freezing Finchu on this Sigma. Going to be getting hit by a rock, not able to quite stop the Blizzard from coming out. Everybody going to be frozen, however. Arch still going to be trying to save everybody with the Transcendence. Not going to be so successful, and the Dragon's going to come in, splitting up the side of T-Money. Not going to be successful, though. The kill's still coming in for T-Money. And right now, they're looking like they're going to just carry it on through second point. Very little stop.
Yeah, they are just rolling right now. It's really impressive. They are at the position where so far they've been able to use pretty much all their cooldowns, all their ultimates really aggressively, whereas so far Forefront has been on the back foot the entire time, having to react, play defensively, play it slow, and it hasn't been working out.
Yeah, so far it does not seem to have been working out. They might need to see a change of pace here. 1DK might be setting that pace as they get 2 kills off the back of some standard arrows. Ashton, however, leveling the field. The kills coming in rather quickly from the side of T-Money. The respawn is going to be coming in quick for the defense, though. Can they make it count?
It's going to be tough, especially with Kydra getting staggered out here. That's going to give plenty of time for those respawns of T-Money to get back into the fight before this starts. Oh, and that is a brutal Sonic arrow to just shut down DK.
Yeah, 1DK going to be in a very tough spot, and the Wrecking Ball actually knocking away the enemies from Finchu's Kinetic Rest. Dusk eating the Blizzard from Kydra. So far, not finding much value from the ults on the side of Forefront, and it might be their undoing here. In fact, it will. Third point going to go over to T-Money.
4:23 on the clock there for T-Money as they power through Kings Row. This is looking very grim right now for Forefront, as they don't seem to have any answers, especially there on that defense. They were just constantly falling back. They never got into a position where they were the ones taking the initiative, and that's such a hard place to be in as a defender. If you are just constantly being forced into uncomfortable positions, it's so hard to really flip that momentum and get things going back in your favor, and it just kind of snowballs out of control.
Yeah, I think Forefront kind of has a few seconds, like a half minute, to kind of recompose themselves, see if they can shake off the cobwebs and get things going here. They're they're kind of changing things up from what we saw the first time around. So maybe they just have to re-warm up on a different composition, a different style, maybe even. But that warm-up period does not seem to be necessary for Team Money. I mean, you said it, 4 minutes and 23. That is an exorbitant amount of time on King's Row. It's going to be a very hard for Forefront to set a pace here, similar.
Yeah, and if you are Forefront here, you just have to block that out. You have to like put some tape over the time up at the top of your screen right now. Just forget that is the bar that's been set, and focus on trying to make some amount of progress, because everything has been pretty much negative so far in this series. So you got to start by getting point A, and then we can start talking from there. But that's got to be the mindset at this point.
Yeah, the Mei wall coming out early from Kaiser to block lines of sight. Finchu, however, taking quite a bit of damage. 1DK going to be taking the Discord Orb. However, getting dangerously low, doesn't have a lot of burst healing. Nyansock's not quite able to find that angle, does eventually find it and will heal them back up. Not a lot of damage, however, being taken on the other side of the field by T-Money. The grab, accretion combo trying to come in from T-Money, not going to sink. However, what will sink are those headshots coming in from Kitty King and Aster. And with those two members down, the main tank and the main support, you got to imagine it's going to be very hard here for the rest of Forefront to get moving.
Yeah, and so far one thing I'm seeing that Team Money is doing that Forefront isn't, is they are playing the way that we see a lot of teams play, which is having Dusk and Ashton be kind of a duo with the Sigma and the Hanzo, kind of a pocket shield for this DPS, whereas we saw 1DK try to go on kind of a solo flank. He doesn't have the protection to stay in that position for very long, so he can't really get a lot of value out of it.
Yeah, and right now we're seeing the teams, the side of Forefront try to rotate, and Mythology getting taken down very early. That means no Immortality field online. The Mei wall going to be separating the Orisa. Asta taken down. This is so crucial for the offensive side. They needed this. Art's going to be taken down. However, things are still looking good for the offense if they can just regroup and recollect themselves. They need to make some kills come in here. Osiris dropping is not bad as well. The Dragons coming out don't seem to be able to catch too much. I say that a little bit too early, as Finchu does drop Ashton, able to clean up Argon. This was looking so good for the offense, and with Kydra so lit. 1DK cleaning up Dusk. It's going to be so questionable. Mythology trying their best to contest, and now we are seeing the trickle fight come into full effect here, Shy Guy. The Immortality field going on the point, however, doesn't look like the offense is really going to take too much advantage of it right off the bat. 1DK has these Dragons on the line. Will they be using them in these fights? It is questionable. The Halt trying to come in, and because of that, Mythology is going to get cleaned up. 1DK not needing to use the Dragons, and eventually the point will go over to Forefront.
Okay, it was very dangerous there for a moment. Forefront, Ashton almost putting the team on his shoulders and carrying that fight, just not quite able to do it. The respawns are enough for Forefront to get point A on the board. So this is what I was talking about. This is the incremental little bit of progress so far, and now they can start looking at point B, and then you can start talking about finishing the map and getting into extra rounds.
Yeah, 1DK caught off guard, a little bit too far ahead. Dusk sees them out, hits them with an accretion rock, forces them off that high ground. The Dragons coming in, also trying to force the defending team off that high ground. Transcendence coming out, perhaps in response to the Blizzard. Try to keeping everybody alive from Kitty King. Looks like that will be successful. The grab coming in now. However, no response from the Transcendence. However, it looks like the kill's going to be coming in too quickly from T-Money for the kills to be followed up from on the grab. Vinci going to be one of the last to fall, as it looks like Nyansock's going to be taking a gentle back out.
And both teams use the Blizzard there. Both teams respond with the Transcendence, but the focus fire from T-Money is just so on point. They're able to burst down Argon immediately, and they are able to secure kills even through that Zenyatta ultimate. So we're just seeing the little things that are working so well for the defense right now.
Yeah, Arts takes actually a big accretion rock to the dome, and with that they get stunned out for quite a while, unable to put those Zenyatta orbs down range, unable to readjust healing or Discord. Gonna be another lost team fight for the side of Forefront.
I love what Osiris did there, using his wall to block out the Immortality field so they could secure a kill. Really well played from the Mei for T-Money so far. He's been having a great series, and they are right back in their comfort zone on this defense.
Yeah, they seem to be locking it right in. The Mei wall coming in, the accretion halt, seeming like they might try to make something land. It doesn't quite hit. Vinshu stepping just a moment out of that immortality field when they were so dangerously low. Means they will be brought to their knees. Ashton continuing to get the kills. Kitty King also trying to claim some lives here. It's going to be this Hanzo from 1DK last to fall. Kitty King getting a little bit of a triple in that situation.
So far, T-Money, they are just so like responsive in terms of like when one person kind of gets caught out or in an awkward spot, the rest of the team is there to respond to it. In this case, it was Ashton throwing out those dragons to help buy Dusk some space when he got caught out by that wall. So really well played, you know, kind of peeling for their team so far.
Yeah, we're going to be seeing the grab flux initiate. We're going to be seeing the immortality field dropped in response to it. The Blizzard coming out from Osiris, they will drop after the Blizzard has been placed. However, a lot of members getting frozen, including the Orisa, including the Sigma. And with that, despite losing a few members, it looks like T-Money going to manage to hold.
Indeed, they will. And now things are starting to get a little bit desperate here for the side of Forefront. They are running out of time on point B. They have been completely stymied after getting through this first choke point, and you know, T-Money just firing on all cylinders at this point. They are fully prepared, and they continue to hold the ultimate advantage going into this next fight. The Blizzard from Kydra needs to be how Forefront breaks open.
Yeah, and Mythology, excuse me, Nyansock's going to be using that window to try to get some damage, get some extra healing, and break down that Mei wall. And the Blizzard going to be coming out not eaten by the Sigma, however, might not be able to find too much follow-up. Transcendence coming in, going to be keeping enough people alive for long enough. Mythology going to be the only one to drop through that Transcendence. And the Sigma grab going to be getting Osiris as well. Things are looking good for the offense once again. It takes them a little bit, but it looks like they're going to get the opportunity to push through second point.
Yeah, and this time they are able to focus down targets even through the Transcendence of Kitty King. So they improve on something that kind of cost them a little bit earlier on in this map. They're able to get through point B, but now they've got a tall task ahead of them. They really need, realistically, to finish this map with time left if they want any shot of winning King's Row. So they've got to be quick on their feet here.
Yeah, and that means for the side of T-Money, they just have to win a couple fights or at least make fights last long enough. The Halt going into a grab flux going to be putting the hurt on a lot of people. The immortality field there, however, for the side of Forefront to bail out a couple of people. Nyansox is going to have it torn down rather quickly. Finchu taking down Kitty King. The kills, again, going in favor of Forefront. This is not the momentum that T-Money can afford to lose. And Ashton in the backlines trying to get some kills, going to take down Nyansox before falling themselves.
And this is the opportunity, though, for Forefront. They're going to have that supercharger from Argon ready to go to try to give them the punching power they need to close out this map.
Yeah, and Dusk immediately going on the point as Wrecking Ball going to get torn down, torn apart. Ashton, however, claiming 3 lives. You have to think that's going to put the hurt onto the side of Forefront. And with that, it's questionable if they can finish this before overtime.
Yeah, it's going to take a real miracle at this point. They're going to have to be incredibly fast in this next fight. If you're T-Money, you're really just trying to slow play this, you know, make them get really aggressive and perhaps push into that Blizzard of Osiris.
Yeah, it's going to have to be the case here. As we can see, the shield getting set up. Finshu going to be taking an early lead, however, hit with an accretion rock. And right now the dragon's coming out, as does the main Blizzard. We're hearing a Transcendence come online from Arch, but it's not going to save Nyansox, who gets taken down by a bullet to the head from Mythology. Finshu taking down Osiris right out of the pole of the grab flux. And now we're seeing the offensive Blizzard come out. It's going to be Aster having that gold ability to keep themselves or prevent themselves from being frozen. As well, will be taking the Discord and hiding behind their shield, holding up at the front of the cart, just buying enough time to not even have to bother going into that next point. But that is only if they can stall this cart out. And right now it is looking good for Forefront to at least finish this map. Right now they just have to keep managing these spawn kills. But right now Ashton and Kitty King turning around with 2 kills on their name. Ashton getting a 3rd right now. This Widow is pulling through. We're seeing a Reinhardt charge into the field, taking down Arch with that charge. As a matter of fact, it's just going to be the Sigma and the Wrecking Ball on point for the offense. And right now they will be cleaned up and they will not be able to carry the cart all the way to 3rd. Oh my goodness.
Oh my god, what a last stand there from T-Money. Ashton and Kitty King rolling out the boop to send his opposite number off the edge of the map is massive from Kitty King, and Ashton just clicking heads from the back line. They didn't have a way to kind of close the distance, get up in the face of that Widowmaker and shut him down. So T-Money, they come away with a strong second map, and now they are one away from sending Forefront home.
Yeah, Forefront kind of looking like they're in the background of this competition right now. They need to basically get a 3-0 reverse sweep. Going to be very difficult, but certainly not impossible. There have been moments where Forefront has looked good. There have been a lot more moments where T-Money has looked better. So right now, what do you think, Shy Guy, it'll take for Forefront to really kind of shape up and get those 3 points to continue on through the losers bracket?
You know, I think they just, like, more than anything, I want to see them being kind of more proactive in terms of how they approach these fights, in trying to force T-Money into awkward positions. Because, you know, when they were able to do that, when they were able to get T-Money kind of reacting to what they were doing, Forefront was starting to find success. But when T-Money is the ones kind of dictating how these fights go, it's all them, and they are just rolling over the top of Forefront. You really have to be the ones kind of forcing fights in this point. And I don't want to say forcing, because that kind of connotes that you're, you know, making bad decisions to try and make something happen. But you really have to be the ones kind of making things happen in terms of just like creating the opportunities.
Yeah, absolutely. As we look forward to, you know, what needs to happen, we're going to look forward as well to the map selection choice. It looks like T-Money going to be opting to ban Rialto. May have shown their hand a little bit there. They initially wanted to ban Eichenwald, decided that was not the option, going to be going instead with Rialto. And now Forefront has the option to choose. We are just waiting on their map selection here. I'm very curious as to what they're going to pick, Shy Guy, because so far it doesn't seem like anything's been panning out for them quite yet.
No, I mean, I struggle to think, you know, what is necessarily kind of the answer here, at least in terms of kind of map selection, because I don't think that there's any map where you can take us that changes things dramatically enough to really alter at least like how the game is played right now. The one kind of outlier in that instance in my mind is Gibraltar, and that is already gone. Instead, it's going to be Oasis. They're going to take us back to a control map, which, given how Busan went, I'm a little worried for them.
Yeah, Busan would not probably Oasis probably would not have been the first map I would have expected Forefront to opt into, but hopefully they have some sort of plan. Maybe they have a different type of strategy built just for Oasis. Maybe they have a pocket strategy. We've seen other teams that have run a little bit more of a dive style here. We haven't seen it from Forefront yet, so I'm inclined to believe that they may not have it in their bag of tricks at all.
Well, I mean, they kind of tried that style a little bit on Busan, you know, going with the Pharah and a little bit of a more mobile composition in that case. So, you know, that could be in the cards here on Oasis, especially as we start off on City Center. The Pharah definitely in play potentially on a map like this. So I would not be surprised at all to see 1DK go back into his bag of tricks and pull out the Rocket Queen. Yeah,
I mean, a caster can certainly hope. You know, I'm optimistic. I'll hope that what you're saying is true. It looks like we're going to be seeing maybe the Winston, if Dusk is to be believed. That is pending. However,
yeah, this would be very interesting from the side of T-Money. You know, the dive tanks here could find a lot of value, but how that syncs up with the rest of their composition, not so sure. Osiris swapping over the Tracer, that intrigues me. Now they've got a very mobile composition. Now they've got a lot of ability to really get into fights, and, you know, Ashton laying in damage from the long range also going to be a little bit of an answer to 1DK.
Oh, no. Yeah, 1DK going to be early taking down Kitty King. Ashton immediately trying to focus down that Pharah, instead going to get burst down themselves. And right now, Forefront seem to have found it in themselves. This first fight looking so very dominant for them. They are taking these fights very quickly. So far, they have yet to control the point, but that seems purely because it hasn't unlocked yet.
Yeah, it's all theirs at this point. So we'll see what changes are going to come through for Team Money. And it's the two tanks are going to swap kind of positions a little bit. Aster going to pick up the Winston now. They want the traditional dive back in play. Dusk back onto the Diva. We saw him have quite a bit of success in dealing with 1DK earlier on tonight, so that's going to be the answer once again.
Certainly have to hope. So Ashton getting brought dangerously low already off the bat. Gotta imagine that they will be healed up either by Mythology or Kitty King as this fight goes on. 1DK is so close to having that Rocket Barrage online, only about 10% off. They have it online now. Will they be dropping it onto the tanks? Have to be very careful as they play around with that Diva played by Dusk. Dusk using that Diva Matrix. Perhaps they may be looking for the D-Mech here. The dive going on, or Aster going on the dive, trying to get that high ground. Not going to be finding it, instead gets burned down rather quickly, has to drop off, and because of that, we're going to be seeing the Rocket Rush from 1DK go out, and it looks like kills still going in favor of Forefront, including the res on the Arch right now, and 1DK getting some of the final kills here. The Moira trying to back out. Can they make it? It looks like they just might.
And the approach there from Team Money is just a little bit awkward. They wrap around the opposite side of the point from the high ground, but that just creates so much room that they have to cover to close that gap to get into position, you know, to get into their optimal range to take a fight. So they try their best, but it doesn't quite work out.
Yeah, and the Coalescence is going to be popping as soon as we see Kitty King hit that elevator. Ashton as well using the elevator to take down the Pharah. Grabflux not seeming to find anything from the side of Finshu. Osiris taking them down with a Tracer melee hit to the back of the dome. And with this, it's just going to be quick cleanup. Argon and Yonsox going to be the only ones left on point as they get cleaned up. The points eventually going to flip over to the side of Team Money with 95% in the pocket.
Yeah, and their Team Money, they just take the fight right to Forefront. They go straight up to that high ground. They get into position very quickly. They get the important pick onto DK and Mythology there to deny the res with a big boop. So they execute their game plan very well this time around, and now they've got the defensive position to try to continue this hold.
Yeah, it is certainly going to have to see if this assault will be successful. We're going to be seeing the swap onto Finshu come through. The sound barrier also coming through from Mythology, only going to be landing on the three themselves, Aster and Kitty King. However, it doesn't seem to be bothering too much as the kills are continuing to come in both back and forth, both directions here, folks. Aster going to be popping that primal. The point so close to being flipped over for the side of Forefront. It just does not look like they have the manpower quite yet. That primal raging Winston played by Aster dealing such a good amount of space buying. Gets put dangerously low. Dusk as well in Baby Diva form only has a sliver of health. Will be remeching rather quickly though. Finshu finally taking down Aster, but it doesn't quite seem to be in time. Kydra dealing the damage on the Dusk, who gets demeched off the back end of it, but with that it looks like there's going to be a pullback from the side of Forefront.
Yeah, they are just gonna have to back off, especially with that tack visor up on the high ground. Ashton doesn't get a lot of value immediately out of that one kill and forces the retreat, so they'll take that all day.
Yeah, and we're seeing a damage orb go up onto the high ground, just trying to collect a little bit of ult charge for Arch, but this high ground really needs to be contested. That halt going to be coming in. They still have no Diva IDK. 1DK going to be taking down Osiris. The soldier healing beacon going to be coming down, keeping everybody sustained a little bit better on the high ground. And finally, Dusk going to be getting that Diva remech. The Hammond ground pound into the landmines going to not be finding too much success. Aster jumping back into the landmines for just a moment, decides to play back a little bit. The pulse bomb onto Dusk now leads them into a Moira damage orb right now. And it's just going to be Aster trying to be the Bastion on point. Not going to quite find it. Finshu taken down by a pulse bomb, but it's not going to be enough as they get rezzed right back up by Nyansox. Point going to flip over, and now the contest needs to come through from Team Money. Can they make it happen?
No, they cannot. Mythology gets halted back. Nice play there from Argon. Denies the overtime there for Team Money. And Forefront, they show a little bit of life here on Oasis, and they give us a first glimpse of what success might look like for them.
Yeah, and success, I'm sure, is very sweet to them at this point. We are going to be moving on to, I want to say university, the library, the one with a lot of books.
Yes, we are headed to the Institution of Higher Learning here. As we'll see as both teams really making quite a few changes coming into this point. We're going to be dealing with much more kind of close quarters combat this time around. So the first appearance of the Winston, or sorry, the Orisa Reinhardt combo coming out from the side of T-Money.
Yeah, Ashton as well going to be on the Reaper. We haven't seen him a whole heap here. Not exactly the most meta required as he used to be in days of old. Not that long ago, actually. But with this Mythology getting an early boop onto Nyansox, going to be getting that boop off the map. And with that kills going so heavily in favor of T-Money. Mythology brought dangerously low, eventually cleaned up by Finchu, who is maintaining the point here. It's going to actually be the members of Forefront who do have an early point presence. Osias, though, however, there to lock down anybody who's on point with the help of the rest of their team.
Yeah, in this first fight kind of just comes down to the compositional differences here, where we're seeing kind of the two archetypes of comps that we've got right now in the meta. The rush composition coming through from the side of T-Money, and the poke comp from the side of Forefront, and they just speed right into them. The Reaper in position, and they're going at it again.
Yeah, Osias sectioned off by a May wall. Does not drop, however, that disfavor goes into Arc, and followed up quickly by Kydra, not letting them fall alone in battle. Argon as well getting separated. These May walls are so oppressive coming from Osias.
No, indeed, he's been on point with these all series long, and now T-Money looking very comfortable with how they're playing right now. The speed boost from Mythology is just letting them take the fights at will. They can rush right into the body of Forefront, and there's really nothing that Forefront can do to stop them.
Yeah, certainly going to be the case, and we're seeing right now the push once again of Forefront to come in. The Dragons coming out from... That's going to be 1DK, is not able to find too much. The Supercharger going down for Dusk, or from Dusk, that should be going to be keeping everybody relatively damaged up, that is, until the Maywall comes in and blocks it. The Window also there to try to pry a little bit of damage into the side of Forefront. The Blizzard coming out from Osias, but they drop as soon as that Blizzard leaves their hand. They will get the freeze, but with that, a few members of the side of T-Money are going to drop. But not as many as it seems the side of Forefront will have in losses, and they're just going to cut their losses and back up.
Yeah, they had an opening there, using the amplification matrix to secure a couple kills, but the Blizzard just too much for them to deal with. Now they got to make a last-second attempt here. They'll have a Blizzard of their own that needs to be how they set up this fight.
Yeah, and they're going to be going into the fight against a Sound Barrier and Death Blossom. Ashton popping that Death Blossom, only going to be taking down the Immortality Field. And right now, kills going in favor of the now attacking Forefront. But in Reinhardt, Earthshatter going to be coming in. Reinhardt taken down by Nyansox before the pin goes on to 1DK. That was so crucial coming in from Nyansox.
And there you just see Forefront, they kind of mirror a little bit of what T-Money has been bringing to the table. They switch over to the Reaper, and they get very aggressive in that fight. Now the hard work begins, because they've got to hold this for so long.
Yeah, this is basically going to have to be a full hold coming in from them. No, neither team, once they get the point, can really give it up. And in this instance, we're seeing the Maywall come in just enough for T-Money to really get in there, close the distance. The Wrecking Ball coming in from Finchu. 1DK going to be taking down Aster. That Reinhardt is no longer going to be able to swing their hammer and bully their way around on point. 1DK doing a lot of heavy lifting here, getting the kills, showing up in the kill feed. And right now we're seeing Finchu just being a pest right now, being so difficult to spot out, actually use their grappling hook on the lower floor to keep that speed boost available. Point, however, is going to end up flipping the T-Money, and overtime is going to tick down if somebody can't touch, and it looks like it's going to be the Moira by Nyansox.
And he gets in there to trigger the overtime, but Argon melted immediately. 1DK can't find anything with the Death Blossom, and that's going to be it. As soon as they deal with Finchu on the point, the Wrecking Ball not going to last long, and T-Money swing things back in their favor to tie it up on Oasis.
Yeah, they certainly will, which means we are going to be going to Gardens next. Shy Guy, do you think we're going to be seeing more Pharah come out of the side of Forefront?
I would kind of hope so. It's kind of in between the 2 points that we've seen so far. It's not as good of a Pharah map as City Center. It's not as difficult to play the Pharah as University is. So definitely a possibility here, and indeed 1DK going to try to kind of make his last stand on this Farah pick, and I do kind of appreciate it here, but I'm wondering how much value it's going to be able to get, given that we're on a point with a little bit more cover for T-Money to avoid his fire.
Additionally, it seems like Dusk going to be opting into that D.Va, so D.Vas can be very oppressive onto this Farah. Dusk immediately spotting them out, ready to get on that high ground to contest as much as possible. And not going to be soon enough. 1DK taking down Kitty King. That means no immortality field for the side of T-Money. Hydra then following up on Mythology. No healing in general, except for health packs onto the side of T-Money. And right now they are being collapsed upon. Aster getting brought dangerously low by a couple rockets, cleaned up by Hydra. Headshot was just for flash. The D.Va going to be getting D-Mech. Nothing now to stop 1DK in the air, as if they needed to. The point's going to be flipping over to Forefront.
Yeah, and there's the thing. You can run Dusk on the D.Va, and he can harass 1DK, but he can't take him out of the fight. And if he's landing rockets from long range, then it really becomes difficult when you don't have a direct answer. You don't have any way to kind of secure kills onto that Farah. So Osias going to be forced to make the swap to the McCree for a more direct counter.
Yeah, and it looks like they're going to be trying to take this high ground. That might be risky, given a Farah Concussion Blast can really displace a lot of the members. A couple shots going on to 1DK. Aster also getting brought dangerously low, however, will have the immortality field by Kitty King to keep everybody alive. No kills really going to be coming out quite immediately yet, but Forefront enjoys the fact that this fight is going to be taking a little bit longer. They're also building up that rocket barrage. The McCree trying to take a little bit of a sideways path and really focus down 1DK. The D.Va rockets also going down to focus that Farah. No kills really going in either way. And as we look towards the point, Argon going to be holding it down with Finchu, trying to just keep this point present and, you know, uncontested right now. However, now the kills start to flow. Osias taking down Hydra. Finchu taking down Kitty King. No immortality field. 1DK killing Aster with the rocket barrage only a moment after they die from Osias. Finchu seeming to take themselves out with an accretion rock or maybe some self-damage from the left click. The D.Va bomb coming in. Will it find anything? It does not. However, the remake going to be coming in from Dusk, giving them a larger health pool. The supercharger coming out from Argon, perhaps just to keep themselves online. Yonsock's even breaking out the pistol, getting the kill onto Ashton. Dusk deciding not to go out the disgraceful way and just jump into the pool.
Yeah, you know, it's a bittersweet feeling there for the side of Forefront. They force out a lot of ultimates, but now they're down to their last attempt. They have to win this fight and every fight from this point on if they want to avoid elimination.
Yeah, Forefront in a very good spot to win this here. We're going to be seeing Hydra pop those dragons. Actually gets both the DPS and the Baptiste. That is so crucial in this situation. With this, it does not look long for the side of T-Money. We are seeing now the last stand of a man named Dusk. Mythology soon to follow as well. Overtime's going to tick down, and now the tables seem to be turning a bit as Forefront claims their first point.
Okay, they find a little bit of something here on Oasis. I got a little bit turned around, and they are capable. They make this one work with the Farah especially. It didn't work for them on Busan earlier tonight, but Oasis is, I guess, the recipe for the side of Forefront as 1DK shows up in a big way, and the rest of the team there to back him up as they come through with the clutch victory. 73% kill participation from 1DK on that Farah.
Yeah, 1DK
unreal.
Definitely getting some positive value from that aerial assault, as I think it's safe to call it in that point. I think, you know, looking at the map layout, it makes sense. University was the one map they didn't necessarily have as much a grip on, but that's a map where you don't necessarily get to run Farah as much as you might like. So overall, Forefront, I think they're going to want to perhaps try to lean on 1DK's Farah, but there's not a lot of maps to really do that on anymore.
No, and now they don't even have the luxury of choosing the map anymore. They will get to ban maps away, but they won't get to dictate where we go from this point on. So it's going to be, you know, interesting to see where T-Money decides to take us. If they want to try to shut down the Farah, you know, they've got some options in the map pool to kind of make life difficult for him. We'll just have to see kind of what their choice is going to be in a moment.
Yeah, and it's looking like the early call from Forefront is going to be banning Hollywood. Not sure. It looks like the team's kind of discussing Hanamura or Hollywood. It looks like the decision will be for Hollywood.
Yeah, so, okay. Team Money going to take us to Hollywood, which is interesting to me. You know, I would have to say it lends itself to Pharah potentially. It's not Oasis. It's not as going to be as good for 1DK if he wants to run that hero, but it's definitely a possibility here. You know, I guess if you are Team Money, they maybe wanted to take us to a hybrid map. Maybe that's just the mode where they wanted to go to. And we already know from earlier they don't necessarily want to play Eichenwald. They kind of mentioned that, or they started to ban that earlier, but so it kind of makes sense in that sense. But we'll just have to see if 1DK wants to run it. I'd be surprised to see the Pharah on the defense though.
I think I would have to agree there. We are going to be taking it to Hollywood, and I haven't plugged it yet, folks, but while we have a moment here before the rosters come online, don't forget to drop those MVP votes in the Twitch chat below. Let us know who you want us to interview at the end of this match. We'll have them in the casters booth with us. And now, we have about 5 seconds, Shy Guy, before the doors unlock. What do we see now?
I want to see Bastion on the defense. I want to see them try to go for something kind of crazy in this situation, because I don't know that the Pharah is going to be kind of the optimal pick on Hollywood defense here, and I don't know that they've shown that they can really go like toe-to-toe with Team Money when they're playing just kind of the stock standard Overwatch, but they're just going to stick with what's working, and it might not be ideal, but I can't say that I necessarily blame them.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you just have to stick with what's working. You got to put your faith in something, and that seems like what we're going to be seeing here. On the other side, the attack looking a little bit more standard. The Hanzo, Mei, Sig, Ori, Zen, Baptiste, not too much changing from the formula there. 1DK going to be trying to get some early damage onto the spawn doors, but it looks like Dusk quick to answer with a Sigma shield.
And that's another way to kind of at least mitigate the effects of the Pharah. Getting Finchu early is exactly what Team Money was looking for. They're going to get real aggressive off the back of that.
Yeah, losing that Sigma is going to lose a lot of shielding, a lot of damage mitigation, and a lot of DPS in general. And right now, it looks like, with the exception of 1DK, not many kills going to be coming in from the side of Forefront. They don't have a whole lot of members to throw on the point. The question is, do they decide to stall this out? The res is going to be coming through from the Mercy, and Yonsox resing up 1DK, but not much value going to be able to be found, especially as Kitty King takes down 1DK almost as quickly as they're brought back up.
Well, this is starting to look a little bit like a repeat of King's Row here, as Team Money just come out on fire here. They get the opening pick, and then they just run down the remaining members of Forefront. They get real aggressive, and they are keeping up the pressure now, buying some space for this payload to just move forward freely.
Yeah, they do not want to get caught up in this doorway. That can be like an occasional stranglehold if the teams are able to be given that space. Aster getting put dangerously low, but will back up and have the help of their supports. A halt coming in, no accretion rock combo. Argon not going to be able to combo with Finchu quite yet. Finchu taking a very forward position, however, gets frozen and burned down for their arrogance. Osias going to be capitalizing on an opportunity when they see it. And right now, 1DK trying to fly into the air, trying to find something. The Rocket Barrage going to be only finding one in Ashton before Kitty King takes down 1DK, as it seems they've been doing this entire game.
Yeah, 1DK has had his moments with the barrages, but so far Team Money has just been fantastic at kind of responding to them very quickly and limiting the damage in that case. And now they get some nice movement on the payload. They are going to back off a little bit smartly. They saw the reinforcements coming, and they're even going to get the kill onto Argon as they fade away.
Yeah, and Kitty King has been putting in the damage right now. A little bit of a shout out to that Zen player. Mei on the tie ground. Osias trying to get ready to drop that Blizzard. Does drop it right into the midline. The Transcendent's going to be coming out, except it is not from the side of the defense, but it's going to be from the offense. Kitty King dropping that Transcendence, giving their team the push they need to just continue to mow down all the enemies in their path. Both Baptistes going to be fighting for this high ground. Ashton as well trying to give their healer some support. The Mercy coming in, gets so close to taking down Mythology, doesn't quite. Nyansox getting peeled off by Aster. And with this, the card continues to move for Team Money, not really able to contest from the side of Forefront, who again gives up that second point.
Indeed they do, and now they're at risk of getting staggered out here. Arch and Niansox just gonna get caught completely. They had no chance to escape with their lives. Really impressive chase down coming through. Heads up play from the side of Team Money is gonna buy them some time and really put the screws down on the side of Forefront.
Yeah, Kitty King will get taken down in like the interim between these two fights. Not going to be too bothered as that respawn is rather immediate considering. That being said, the Immortality Field going to be coming out for the defensive squad. Grab going to be lifting up 4 members. However, the Immortality Field does save them on the offensive side. It's going to be Mythology who gets frozen so low. It will be Argon just walking past that shield, cleaning them up. But Ashton kind of in the backlines on the cart, slowly killing 1 or 2 members. However, Arch, these Zenyatta's just seeming to be so bloodthirsty.
Yeah, it was a nice combo there from Finchu and Kydra. The grab flex lifts them all up. Kydra drops in from the high ground with the Blizzard, but it's a big commitment. Those are 2 of your biggest kind of engage ultimates on the side of Forefront. So now they're gonna have to hold off with just this supercharger ready to go.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not going to be seeing the Supercharger go out quite yet. We're going to be seeing the Dragons and the Grab Flux come out from the offense. They are really committed to winning this fight, and with Niansox going down and a whole heap of other members going down, it looks like they might just do it. But Kydra and 1DK trying to pull back, trying to have their own words about that. Maywall's blocking everybody's line of sight in this situation, it seems. Osias, however, not paying attention to 1DK, takes a couple arrows for their effort, but it doesn't stop the cart from moving to the offense.
No, it's not going to stop it at all, and now 3 minutes to just deal with this final section of the map. Duska swapped over to the Wrecking Ball in an attempt to get back to the fight quickly, and they might just be able to do it here.
The Transcendent's going to be coming through, can't save Dusk, who gets burned down by those Dragons. Coming in from the Hanzo, Aster trying to lock down that Wrecking Ball as well. Finchu doing their best to take down Mythology, will succeed in that task, and right now it is looking so questionable right now. The May Blizzard going to be coming in for the offensive side, making it really difficult for the defense to push in. In fact, they're not gonna, and that's going to be Team Money claiming 3rd point.
Okay, it wasn't quite the time that they set on King's Row, but yet another brilliant attack round here from the side of Team Money as they answer back. They are perhaps a little bit upset that this didn't end in a 3-0 sweep, and they want to finish things off here. They want to close out this victory and secure their spot in the next round.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's gonna take at least, you know, coming out on top with this map. And that being said, now just under 3 minutes left in the time bank is pretty respectable, I'd say, for Hollywood. That 3rd point went by rather quickly for the side of Team Money. I think that they're looking to be in a very good spot. 5 seconds, and then we'll be able to see what the side of Forefront is going to be opting for on their offense.
I would imagine it's 1DK on that Pharah. Again, in my mind, it's going to be more effective on this attack round than it was on the defense, where, you know, when you're playing it on the defense, you cannot really stop the enemy team from, you know, just pushing straight into the members of your team that are on the ground. You can try to lay in rockets and deter them a little bit, maybe get a single pick, but as long as they can stay healthy and use that Sigma shield to kind of mitigate your effectiveness, they're going to be able to get aggressive, and that's exactly what we saw here on the attack. Though, you kind of set the pace. You get to sit back, you get to hover up above the fight, and you know, hopefully lay in enough damage to set something up for your team.
Yeah, setup will be crucial here. And with that, once again, 1DK taken to the skies, trying to get some early damage. However, it looks like the defense going to be a little bit wary to give it to him. Niansox and 1DK both taking quite a bit of damage early on. The focus really going into the sky here, especially with that May trying to land those icicles. However, now the rest of the offensive team will start to take this wrap around angle. And Finchu seeming to appreciate this high ground. It cost them on their defense for the first push. Can they make it work this time around, perhaps? 1DK still not able to land too many kills. As I say that, though, Kitty King going to be the first to drop. I guess that is truly the caster's curse. Osias taking down 1DK, and it looks like Niansox tried to go for the res, but lost it. Was somehow jostled out of position, unable to get the res onto that Pharah. And right now the fight's getting a little bit messy. Both teams kind of pushing past one another's shields in this situation. Finchu trying to hold this high ground, and Argon trying to put pressure onto the low ground. It doesn't look like kills are coming through for either side, but with that being said, 1DK going to be coming back into the fight. Ashton taking down Kydra, though. That is not great for the offense. They need to make something happen. They need to be getting these kills. They had man advantage, but now it seems they have a massive loss in manpower. Argon going to be dropped. Not able to get res, as Kydra was the one who was just res. Dragons coming out, and it's actually going to be eaten by Finshu. Ashton using those dragons to perhaps try to drive back the offense will just be eaten instead.
No, and pretty inconsequential at the end of the day there. The Dragons were not necessary at all for Team Money as they continue this hold. They're now settling in. They're now building up to their first round of ultimates. The Blizzard gonna be online very shortly. They get a nice pick, force out the res here. So now if you are Forefront, you gotta play a little bit more carefully.
Yeah, Forefront continually has 1DK taking that Discord Orb, taking that increased damage. The Blizzard coming in from Osiris right into that small room. Finshu catches them out, but that's not going to stop Osiris and Dusk from claiming a lot of kills off the back of that Blizzard. And with that, another solid defense coming in from the side of Team Money.
And the Pharmacy duo now just needs to try to avoid disaster at this point. Void getting staggered, no. But 1DK trades his barrage for 1 kill yet again.
Yeah, and Nyansock's going to be popping that Valk just to try to stay up and not get staggered even more themselves. However, will not be able to get too much value out the back of it. The Transcendent's going to be coming in from Kitty King. The res now going on to the side of Kydra, who is coming back. Already burned down dangerously low. Finshu, however, going to be the first to drop. Kydra able to pull out with their dragons in tow.
And not going to be able to survive in the enemy backline there. And now we're getting into the nitty-gritty here. Team Money on the verge of winning this series, but 1DK with a nice early pick-off. They take down Ashton. That's one less threat to worry about here, and an opportunity for Forefront.
Yeah, but Nyansock's getting taken down means 1DK is without a co-pilot right here, and they need to make something happen. As you mentioned, only about 45 seconds left on the clock. Supercharger from Argon will give the opportunity perhaps for Forefront to do some damage, some increased damage here. But Dusk kind of in between the team right now. Nyansock's going to be finally regrouping with 1DK. And right now it just does not seem like this is the push for Forefront.
It definitely isn't, and this next push has to be the push for Forefront. If they want to keep their hopes alive, it's got to be here and now. They're going to be pushing into a Blizzard as well as the Amp Matrix. This is going to be incredibly difficult. They've got no ultimates on their side.
Yeah, 1DK especially getting killed out early by Aster. The res will be going on to Nyansock, which means that they are distracted from their team. Finshu and Argon going to be taken down rather early from a nice Maywall separation. The Pharmacy trying to do some damage, but nobody able to contest, despite the Hanzo trying to run around back.
It was a nice little renaissance from Forefront. They were able to take one map and avoid the sweep, but Team Money, they really they clamped down on this final map. They clean up any mistakes that they were making, and they make sure that this series isn't going to extend any further. They punch their ticket into the next round, and they finish off what was a really impressive showing from them tonight.
Yeah, Dusk going to be getting that final little MVP play, or excuse me, rather, the play of the game card. But since I did bring it up, make sure you get your last minute votes in for MVP. We'll be bringing them into the booth so you guys can hear from them, ask them all the questions that we've ever wanted to ask them, like, how do you feel about the game? And what was going through your mind when you made this play? That being said, we do have a few minutes. Shy Guy, who do you think was really popping off?
This is an interesting decision here tonight. I really liked a lot of what I was seeing out of Kitty King tonight. The Zenyatta play from Team Money I thought was fantastic, because usually when the Pharah is as prevalent as it was from Forefront, you usually see teams switch over to hit scan play, or try to do something to kind of directly counter the Pharah. They weren't doing that. They threw Dusk on the Diva, but in a lot of cases it was up to Kitty King really to put pressure on the Pharah, and it really was an excellent showing from him all around.
Yeah, I have to agree. I think overall a lot of good players in kind of the running here. I did like, I think both Zens had their moments for sure. Baptiste, it's really kind of hard to like have those moments where a Baptiste really, I guess, just pops off and you know, has a highlight play. But one play I really liked was, I believe it was Nyan Sox, who there was a charging Ryan pinning one of their teammates, and they killed them right before the Ryan hits that pin. That Reaper is able to just deal so much damage throughout the mid fight because of that. Overall, some fantastic plays. And again, we are just waiting for production to get through with us with who that MVP vote is going to be. But while you're waiting, while we're waiting, why not check out some of our social media? We got the Twitch, we got the Twitter, we got the Discords. You might be in all three, and if you are, we appreciate you especially. As well, if you want to throw us any other special kinds of endorsements, they're always welcome. We like hanging out with all the cool people who support Star Esports. So show us some love, and we'll definitely show you some back.
Absolutely, we got one of the best communities around when it comes to tier 3 Overwatch, and you know, it's been a lot of fun to be a part of this over the last, you know, I don't know, a year or so since I've been casting here, and you know, I look forward to the future here, and thanks to everyone who supports us, to everyone who was here with us tonight to watch what was really turned out to be a very entertaining series. I was worried at first, you know, that Team Money was just going to come in here and kind of take the clean sweep, take a pretty easy series, but Forefront, they really, you know, they showed quite a bit of moxie here tonight. They showed me some stuff that I was really impressed with to battle back and to at least make this one competitive. I give them a lot of props for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Massive props coming through here. Now, from what it looks like Ashton going to be our MVP according to our producers. We're going to be having them in here in just a moment. And overall, Shy Guy, I think that's a very good option for MVP.
Yeah, I mean, he just barely edges out his support partner in this, or sorry, not his support partner, his well, I guess his support partner in Kitty King. He's not the support, but Ashton joining us now for a little bit of a post-game interview. That was a very entertaining series. So, you know, how was it on the inside?
I mean, we were just playing the game, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, you just played. Yeah.
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 Okay.
All right. Well, Ashton, we know that metas can be kind of oppressive sometimes, right? I don't think I need to say that it can feel restrictive sometimes. So with the current meta we're in, we're seeing a lot of Sig, Ori, Mei come into the field. Hanzo, I guess, has kind of come back now. But if meta weren't a thing, what would you be playing most of the time, or who would you be your preferred DPS?
I still keep playing Hanzo because he's just like my most comfortable hero, and he always has been.
Well, it certainly seems like this is the meta for you then, my friend. Now, your opponents in Forefront, they ran a bit of Pharah, and it seemed like you guys had a pretty decent lock on it on the first map on Busan. I believe they ran it 1 or 2 maps. But on Oasis, it seemed to kind of slip away from you. Was there a difference in gameplay you noticed between those 2 maps that caused that score difference?
Yeah, it's just not Rialto. Oasis is just an infinitely better Pharah map than Hollywood, and it's just so hard to deal with it, especially with a good Pharahs like IDK. So it's just hard to deal with it, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, certainly has some map implications there. What do you got, Shy Guy?
You know, throughout the series, you guys were really on a roll, at least through like the first half, and there on Hollywood as well. You know, how do you kind of I guess kind of keep focus when a series is going this well? How do you kind of continue to, you know, lock in on what you're supposed to and not let things kind of slip when you're feeling, you know, things going that well?
I don't know. It's just we didn't really have to change anything because it was just feeling so well. There's really no point to change like your attitude or anything. You just keep playing how you're playing and you'll be fine.
Yeah, it seems like a very just kind of roll on through or keep rolling with it kind of attitude. Is that, would you say, I guess going like focusing on you and your team, would you say that you guys are a very emotional team when it comes to that kind of stuff, or you're just locked in, methodical, objective kind of focus?
I mean, we always like to have fun when we play, because that's the most important part. But I mean, it was I'd say we're methodical or whatever, but we just, I don't know, we just show up to play and then we play well. That's our main objective, and we just do anything we can to strive towards that objective, I guess.
Well, it certainly seems to have been bringing you some success. Shy Guy, do you have any final questions?
Yeah, I want to ask you a little bit about, next round you guys are going to be going up against Scion, who took our first series of the night. So I want to ask if you have any predictions or kind of insights on what you think about that series in the future.
I mean, Sion's a good team. I mean, we're a pretty good team too, but I can't really say what I think's going to happen because I haven't been in the tier 3 scene for very long. So this is literally like my second game in tier 3 ever. So
well, welcome.
Yeah, congratulations.
So I mean, I'm not the right person to ask about that. So I'm not going to say much about that.
Certainly fair. I think we didn't mean to put you on the spot like that or anything, but I will happily put you on the spot for this question. We are about ready to wrap it up. So do you have any final words, any final shout outs? Your friends, your coaches, your family, your mom, your dog. What do you got for us?
Yeah, I'd like to shout out my boy PGE because he's the one who convinced me to get into tier 3 because I've been thinking about getting into tier 3 for about a year and a half, but I never had enough confidence to do it. But PG helped push me to finally join a team and start scrimming and stuff and have confidence in my own play, I guess. So yeah, PG, homie.
Well, fantastic. We are about ready to wrap it up here, Ashton. Once again, thanks for hopping into the caster's booth, answering a few questions for us. And we hope to see you in some future games popping off.
Yeah, of course.
All right, take care, my friend. And with that, Shy Guy, we are about ready to wrap it up. Do you want to go ahead and give them the spiel?
Absolutely. I just want to thank everybody for joining us here. The team. It's been an absolute pleasure. Sir Waltham and I will be back again tomorrow for a couple more matches as we move into winners bracket round 3, where we're really getting into the thick of things here, and I cannot wait to do it. It's been a pleasure bringing you guys these games tonight. I have, as always, my name is Shy Guy. You can find me on Twitter at ShyGuyOW for anything and everything that I'm getting up to.
Yeah, likewise, if you need to catch me, you can catch me on Twitch or Twitter at Sir Waltham. You can also catch me here tomorrow. As mentioned, I will be here casting, so you can hear my awesome or horrible voice, depending on your opinion. I respect all. With that being said, from all of us here at the Overwatch All-Stars, we want to thank you guys for tuning in and giving us a couple of views. Again, if you feel the need to follow us on any of those social medias, we definitely appreciate it. We love having you guys as well. We want to wish you guys a great night, and we hope you stay safe out there, everybody.